Okay, so Chuka, first question for you. Again, at any point in time, you can raise your hand and you have a question for him, right? I'm just seeding the room with it. So first question, what's your origin story?
Okay. It's not a Marvel movie though. My first foray into technology was when I was in primary school. I had my mom was a software engineer, programmer at the time for UTC many moons ago, and I remember she used to bring two CRT computers back home from work. Then you were allowed to take computers home because it's big and bulky. And I was fascinated by this thing. I remember she would want me to, experience what it felt like to use computers, and she would load games. I remember Prince of Persia and Pac-Man. Those of us that know those games, well, you're in our generation. If not, go and Google. Um, and every night when she brought those computers home, I would ask her, please, can you load the games up for me? And then she got tired of having to come to the computer and load the games up. So she showed me the commands one time. I said, I'm not going to show you again after this. After this, you're on your own. And I paid attention. But the one thing that she did teach me that stuck was she showed me how to access the help. Then it was Microsoft Disk Operating System 1.0. Then, no, 1.02, I won't forget. And then she showed me how to access the man pages. And it was English. You read, you understand what the command does, and it just connected. And that's how I was able to learn how to navigate the disk operating system at a young age, and just because of gaming. That followed me to primary school, which followed me to secondary school, joined the computer club, followed me to Unilag, and I think the rest is history. So video games was where it started from, computer games.
Thanks, Chuka.
Yeah.
So you've evolved from software engineer,
Yeah.
grown and evolved, right?
Yeah.
Because they're mixed together. From software engineer to team lead, to working in different roles, to good developer expert, to starting Interstellar Labs, to being chief product officer at Flutterwave, to then leading the new product experimentation team here at Meta in Nigeria, to many other responsibilities, a certified cloud architect, like so many different things, right? Question for you is, what has kept you motivated over the years? Because, like I mentioned, we've known each other for 26 years, and we met at the University of Lagos. God bless Kunle Oyedeji, who connected us together at the time, ran a cyber cafe. So what has kept you motivated in this journey over the last 26 plus years?
Yeah, good question. Stay motivated. So, if I want to be cheeky, I would say it's money. If I want to be cheeky, but no. I would say that's maybe a third reason. I think the thing that keeps driving me is the need to create and deliver value, right? About 2-3 years ago, I spoke at the platform, and this was one of the centers of my topic, which was being able to create value. The thing with value is once you create value, not just for yourself, but for someone else or for an ecosystem, money always follows it. There is no place where you see value that you won't see money behind. So if money is your real goal, figure out ways to create value. And value comes in different ways, shape, or form. Solving people's problems, solving your own problems, solving problems for corporations, organizations, so on and so forth. But in order to create value, you do need what? Knowledge. Yes? Because if you're not able to solve the problem, because you don't have the skill set or the tools that you need to solve it, then you won't be equipped to be able to create value. And I think that is the driving factor or the driving force for me, is the inquisitive mind to always learn more, to be able to use that information, to be able to solve problems for other people. And then every other thing follows by default. So that's my core. I think even till like last week, I was still reading up on new documentation for new tech that comes out, or for what's happening in the ecosystem, or for what's happening on the global stage. The fact that knowledge is power is so key to being able to use it to transform your life. Because with knowledge, You're able to solve problems, you're able to solve problems, you're able to create value, you're able to create value, money will follow. It's quite simple.
Thank you very much, Chuka. Any questions? Anybody? All right. None yet? Okay, have one at the back. Can you raise your hand again? Yes, please.
So basically, I want to know, based on your view of what is going on in the world today and how everything is changing, to the average 20-year-old, first of all, is it possible to get to where you have been in this lifetime? Right? And second, could you possibly create a mind map, a pathway that could, ease the process so you don't make so many mistakes along the way? Thank you.
Ooh, two packed questions. Yeah. Okay. Yes, to the first one, yes, it's possible. I mean, I don't think I've achieved much. I'm still on my way. I'm on the way there. So I think it is possible. Sitting beside me here is Femi, who's also, I can say his career mirrors my own in different ways, right? And I won't say it was because we met in school. I think it's the same passion, the same drive, and he's sitting right here. So it's also another great example of such a story. So yes, it is possible. I mean, I know the times are changing. In fact, I would say with risk, I would say it probably should be easier now because of the access to information that you have. Back in the day when I learned, the first programming language I learned was PHP. All hail PHP. And
Thank you.
I was being sarcastic, but let's move on. Well, let's move on. But that was the first language I learned, and that's the first language that actually brought me pay. Now, the thing with PHP at the time when I learned it was there was no Google, right? There was no, what are the famous search engines? There was no AI. There was nothing like that. I had to learn this by reading the documentation. It wasn't even a documentation, it was a reference manual. Yes. That's what I had to read. And I was lucky that I stumbled on some forum at the time with some guy's name. His name was Jester. I don't know why, I will never forget that guy's name. But he was so influential to how I was able to learn, because there were many issues I would face because the documentation wasn't easily demystified for me. So I would ask questions based on the errors I was seeing, and he was able to respond. Somewhere halfway around the world, I didn't know where he was. But that was when there was no easy access to information. You live in a world where you have access to information at your fingertips. So I think it should be easier. But again, I say it with risk. So everybody's experience is different. The second question, which was a mind map, right? It depends. In my time, when we were learning, there were like maybe 4 roles. It was back-end engineer. There was not like DevOps. There was not like product manager. It was back-end engineer. We didn't even have the term front-end engineer. Yeah. Do you get, we had designer, not interface designer, no UI designer, no UX. We just had designer. And that meant anything that it meant at that point in time with Corel Draw and the rest. So it was probably easier to fit into these 2 buckets, The backend engineer did everything from DevOps to cloud architecture. No, there was not like cloud, to be honest. Yeah. Just software architecture to, technical architecture, like whatever it is. The backend engineer did everything, and then everything above. That's why the front ends used to suck back in the day, if you remember. But today you have so many roles. So it's probably easier to specialize in one role and know that you will get paid for it. So if I say, okay, what mind map should you follow? Here's what I would say. There's a site called what's it called? I forget what it is, but it gives you a developer's pathway to become any particular role that you want. I think it's run something .sh. What is it called? What? Roadmap. God bless you. That's what it is. Roadmap.sh. I found out maybe sometime last year, and I was like, where was this when I was learning how to do these things? I learned by trial and error in the experience with live production workloads. I don't know, it's funny to some people, but you can imagine that's how we learned, right? Making mistakes actually in production. There was a lot more tolerance for mistakes back then because all of us were figuring things out by ourselves. But now, there's a more meticulous and articulated way to be able to learn something. So I can't say there's a map for one role. I'd say there's a map for many roles. So roadmap.sh, if you're looking to go into any particular career and you are starting out today, that's where I say you should start from. Because it will give you a blueprint for what you should learn, how you should learn it, where you should learn it, and what you should learn next until you get to where you're going.
Thank you very much, Chuka. Yes, a round of applause is appropriate. Thank you. So, in your time at Flutterwave as Chief Product Officer, you must have seen and learned a lot of things. I'm not asking for specific details, but what are the things that you learned that is required to hyperscale for an African fintech? Many of us are working in different organizations, some of them doing really massive workloads, right? What are some of those things that you learned that engineers rarely see from the outside, right? But inside, the kind of things that have to be put into place to make your startup, your business, your platform, your service actually be able to scale or stop it from scaling.
Oh, man. Most people always think technology is the thing. It's not. I think technology is probably the easiest one to solve in a way. With time and good engineers or a good team, you can solve any technology problem you face. The harder one to solve is, especially with Flutterwave specifically, was compliance. Compliance on a global level was the biggest risk I'd see, because, again, remember, I'm saying this in context. This is a fintech business, right? They're in payments, and as you know, Flutterwave tries to do a very good job of connecting, merchants and payers from all around the world, right? They have access in Ghana, in Nigeria, in South Africa. You go to Tanzania and there's Flutterwave there. Being able to connect on the technology level was always the easiest thing to do. But getting the compliance sign-off from their central bank and from, compliance teams in each of these countries, because each of these rules vary from country to country. That was usually the biggest challenge. Because when we say, okay, we are going to go to this country, we found a vendor we are going to partner with. When it came to being, implementing the tech, now you're done. You can get the demo kits, you get everything, get the staging, integration kits and everything, and you can get all of that done in a week. But to roll out, Jesus is Lord. You can wait a year before a particular integration comes online, right? So if I was saying the biggest takeaway, and again, this is nuanced and unique to my experience at Flutterwave, that was the biggest thing I saw that could make or break scale. At some point, our scaling into US was hampered by the fact that US treats each particular state differently. Like in Nigeria, if you get compliance framework for Nigeria, you're done. You don't have to think about Lagos and Abuja. And once you have sorted Nigeria out, you've sorted Nigeria out. You go to Tanzania, it's the same thing. But the US operates differently. There are 50 states. Each state has its own compliance framework and licensing you need to get to be able to operate in that state. Now, imagine being able to let your technology be, work globally, but not work in those states. It's one of the hardest things, and it's because it's a compliance requirement. So that was the biggest thing. Now, I guess that's fintech. Well, of course, this probably takes different shapes and sizes now. You have GDPR policies. You have things with different countries in Europe telling you can't get even with the company I'm consulting for now, it's the same thing. We can only operate in a part of Europe. We can't operate in other parts. But your technology is online, is in the cloud. How do you prevent users from using it? It's so hard. But yeah, that would be the biggest thing. I'd say it was a struggle, but slowly, surely, with a great compliance team, definitely get to the end goal.
Thank you very much, Chuka. Do you have any question? Yes, we have a question on that role. While the mic is coming to you, so I know, Chuka, you've mentored and mentor developers over the years, and From the profile of those who joined, who are here for Pro Day, I know that we have team leads, we have CTOs, we have founders also here in this room. How do you unlock a developer that has plateaued? So it happens, right? Where you have someone who, for some reason, just is unable to break the ceiling and increase their work rate, and you can see the potential, right? Or you've seen the potential, but how do you sort of help to unlock the talent that is hidden in so many people?
Right? That's a tough question. I would say at least how I've been able to do it with people who I've seen.
Maybe I should rephrase as well.
Okay.
How do you get the best out of people?
Maybe
that's
a better question. I get you, but I understand the question you're asking. Find what they care about. People who are senior at that level, and when you say, because you use the word plateaued initially, so which means I'm saying that what I think you're saying is that there's people who have talent, but they've gotten to a point where they're like, oh, I think I'm okay, I'm good, right? At Facebook, we used to call those folks, once you get to IC5, your terminal. Terminal just means, oh, well, you don't have any incentive to sort of grow because you will never be let go. You've gotten to a point where, you've gone to the peak of your air quotes career there. So I get that, but I always notice that just through conversation, finding what engineers, okay, let me replace that word with engineers, with people, finding what people care about and finding a way to incentivize them around those topics always brings more incentivization. I always see that. It always works. So it may take different shapes, forms, and sizes for people. There isn't one bullet that hits all. But I think for every individual or every team, the easiest way to get the best out of them and the most optimal out of them is find the things that they care about and find a way to align that with what they're doing or what they can potentially do. If you find someone, for example, who cares about gaming and you give them a project that has to do with air quote games, for example, I mean, it's hypothetical. You would see them go up far and beyond to be able to deliver, and they'll probably learn in the process, upscale in the process, and so on and so forth. So that's a trivial example, I know, but something like that. Yeah.
So find what they care about.
Find about what they care, not what you care about. You would always care about something. That's why they work for you, sure. But in addition to that, if you can find what they care about and find a way to harmonize those two things, you'll be on your solid way there.
Thank you very much, Chuka. Question? Please go ahead. Just speak to the mic.
Oh, okay. Hi, my name is Farouk, and I'm a software engineer. So I have been recently I've been in positions where I am hiring people for roles in a company.
Mm-hmm.
And
Congratulations.
yeah. So basically, I'm your founder, one of the things that's hard for me is how do I find the best people and how do I convince them to believe in an idea? How do I sort of communicate a vision to them and get them aligned on what I'm trying to get to? And the second question I have is what does a Google developer expert mean? Is it a certification or you work at Google as a cloud expert?
Oh, okay, cool. First one, how to find people to follow your dream, essentially, because you want to build something and you want to get them to come work for you. Oh man, that one is hard, right? Because as the generations move by, people care less and less about what you want rather and care about what they want, right? So that's one index. The other index is money. If you raise a crap ton of cash, you can entice them to come. But they won't stay for long. So because the next cash enticement is around the corner for them, if they're really good. So the best you can do is, while they are with you, again, it sounds repetitive, figure out what they care about. Yes, if you can find what they care about and find a way for it to align with what you care about, then you find alignment, right? It's always hard to sell a vision to someone who may potentially have their own, because then those two things will always be in conflict. But if you understand what they care about, what their own vision is, and it aligns with yours, then it's easy harmony, it's easier. It is when you're trying to pitch to someone who cares about apples and you're telling him, Baba, oranges will change the world. Then you're already having trouble from day one, no? I know it doesn't feel like an easy practical answer, but that's the best I can say right now, because everybody as an individual or as a product person or as an engineer are coming of age to the point, especially if they're senior, where they are now starting to care about something. So instead, look for communal gatherings and events that all focus on that thing that you want to build or that thing that you care about. Chances are is that you will meet someone like yourself there, and then you can find a way to partner. It's not going to be easy, but it's the easiest solution I see in the book that can work. The second question was, what is a GDE? A Google Developer Expert, I don't know whether that term has changed, but when I joined several years ago, thanks to Femi, by the way, is someone who is recognized by Google for being a champion or being a professional and a thought leader in their field, but also understands Google technologies, right? So you have a Google Developer Expert for cloud, you have Google Developer Expert for ML, machine learning, AI. These are all people who are thought leaders in their field, but also specifically understand Google technologies, right? So they're recognized for that. It's not a paid role. It's not, this is volunteer of love, because after a while, it becomes a volunteerism of love, because I could tell you, yes, it feels like the title is something of status and privilege. Personally, I don't see it that way, because you have to give back to the ecosystem. It's about you sharing your knowledge, you giving back, you teaching, you mentoring and pouring yourself into other people. Sure, they fly you around, they get you to go speak at conferences, so on and so forth. Yes, but that's secondary. The primary reason why you are there is because you know something of value, not just about your field, but of Google Tech as well, and you're willing to share and give back that knowledge. Don't know if that makes sense? Yeah?
Yeah, and if I can add to that is, it's a platform for you to share more of what you know, so that more people can actually learn from that experience. So rounding up now, any question before I ask my next set of questions?
Oh, wow.
Should let me ask questions at all? We only have a few minutes left, so I'm afraid you can only take maybe three questions.
Three more
okay,
questions.
Be generous. Okay. Thank you very much, Marianne. So can I ask 3 questions? Direct one question only. Thank you.
No compound questions.
All right, cool. Thank you very much for the session, Chuka, and it's really nice meeting you. I just want to track back a little bit, and I want to say you really meant that all hail PHP thing. Tell me that you mean it. All hail PHP. Seriously. And exactly. And you should probably try look for the Chester guy, because you said you never forget that name. You guys should connect, because I think it's super important. So
Thank you.
There was a point that you made when you were asked about your motivation as to what's kept you going. I thought you were going to leave the talk of the money behind. It's the truth, and I like the fact that you admitted that. So the thing is, personally, say I've been money-driven for a little bit of time, right? And then sometime down the line, I felt like, I think money isn't exactly everything, and it's not like it's even a lot of money, right? And that has really, really not exactly let my career in tech go exactly how it should be going. And sometime down the line, I decided to, quit whatever it is I was doing then, because it had tech on the side for me and stuff. So in the past few years, I've had to go the value-driven way, and that brought me back to, knowledge. Build knowledge, and that can help you deliver value. So now there is knowledge. But then the value part is the thing. So now, when a person is caught, and this is actually my question now. Please. So when you're caught in this crossroad of, yes, you know a little bit of thing, and you're caught in this crossroad of, okay, now, should I get a job, or I should build something? How do you get to make that kind of decision? Because it's just really a thing of route. Should I build something or should I try to get a job or something like that?
Thank you.
Okay, I'll try to.
Short.
Short, I know. Okay, let's first say there's a disclaimer. It's different for everyone, okay? Everybody has the different calling or feeling or whatever at different inflection points in their life. Now, that being said, a good reason, so I'll give you good reasons and you still decide for yourself. A good reason to work for a company or get a job is because you can learn and you can grow. Prior to Meta and Flutterwave, I'd never done a full-time job before. But I promise you, the growth it brought, working for those two companies brought for me significant and massive. It had even nothing to do with the logo on CV, right? It's just the exponential growth that I experienced there from seeing what it takes to run a mega company, a billion-dollar company from the inside. So that's a good reason to work for a company. A good reason to build is because then you're building for yourself. You're working for yourself, but you're potentially creating value to solve problems for millions or potentially billions of people. Now, only you will be able to determine whether you're ready for that. And if you're not ready to be able to go the founder road, it's not easy, it's not for everyone, then you can become more seasoned in working for someone else so that when you decide to work and do yours, you have enough experience to do it. That's not to discount people who decide to do it straight from school. If that's what you're convinced that you need to do, this road will be slightly tougher, but at the end of the day, you still get to the other side. So it varies from human being to human being at where you are in your life.
Thanks, Chuka. Next question.
Yeah, thank you very much for that,
And
Chuka.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Straight to the question.
Yeah.
No need for the context.
So being a mentor, right, it's a tricky thing, right? At what point do you think it's right for you to just give up on this a mentee because months or years there's no growth or something tangible to like point to? It can be tiring and exhausting. So at what point do you think, or what are you going to do? Maybe not give up. I mean,
Yeah. Let me answer it like this, and I will answer it like a dad. If you had a child, would you give up on your child? Finish.
I have a different take.
Let's leave it at that. Yes, there's different takes to that, but I'm saying the simplest version of it, right? The mentee, I mean, I get when you say, okay, your time, is it worth it, so on and so forth. But giving back isn't about you. Do you want to collect back from the person? So you just continue to pour. It's just your time you're giving. I get that it may not feel great if you continue to give and you don't see him proceed. I get that. But you're not doing it because you want to get back. And you're not doing it because you want it. So you're giving. With your children, you just continue to give regardless. So if they found themselves to be your mentees and they continue to come back for advice, whether they're paying attention to it or following it or not, I get. Just keep doing. Do what you're doing. Continue to share the knowledge. Continue to answer. Continue to do what you have to do. I mean, as long as it's not time-consuming and it's not robbing you of money and robbing you of your life. Yeah, it's just time. Yeah.
I'll leave it at that. Chuka, thank you so much for
It's
taking
my
out
pleasure.
time to do this with us today.
My pleasure.
We know you had to hop on a flight to get in here to do this with us today. So
Happy
we really
to.
appreciate it.
Yes.
And thanks for sharing your knowledge with us. We learned quite a bit, even myself. Yeah. Right. And for the audience, for the amazing questions, thank you so much. And on that note, I will round of applause for Chuka. Please.
Thank you.